In every great mystery, there's always one witness everyone forgets to ask. The person who sees everything but says nothing. Until now. Joni Lamb's cleaning lady just broke her silence about what really happened at that beach house in 2021. And what she's revealed could change everything in the BAM case. But here's the thing. She almost didn't speak at all because she was terrified of losing her job. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear has never been made public until today. If you've been following the Daystar TV scandal, you know there are two completely different versions of what happened during that 2021 executive retreat in Florida. On one side, Jonathan and Susie Lamb, who believe their daughter, we're calling her Lamb for privacy, was inappropriate by her uncle, Josh Brown. On the other side, Joni Lamb, the network president and grandmother, who insists Josh is innocent and has since removed her own son, Jonathan, from the network entirely. It's been a family civil war playing out in police interviews, leaked videos, and public statements. And honestly, until now, we've had no way to know who's telling the truth. But here's what's fascinating. In classic detective stories, you know who always knows what really happened. The butler, the maid, the chauffeur, the people who are in the house but invisible to everyone else. An exclusive police interview footage has been released publicly of the one person who was there that morning and saw everything unfold. Sylvia Torres Gonzalez, Joni Lamb's cleaning lady. What she says. It's going to blow this case wide open. Before we get to what Sylvia told police, you need to understand something critical. This woman was terrified to speak. Listen to what she told Detective Nick Garcia during her February 2025 interview.
Dice que si es algo que Jonathan ya le había comentado.
Yo busco trabajo y si lo pierdo, pues...
The only thing is that that's my only job, and if I lose that,
Okay.
Es todo lo que sé.
that's what I know.
Ojalá que no pierda mi trabajo.
Hopefully I will not lose my job.
Do you work for just Joni or the family?
Worko para las tres, pero estoy más del tiempo con Miss Johnny.
I work for the three of them, but I spend more time with Miss Johnny.
Okay.
Let that sink in. She knew the truth. She'd known it for 4 years. But she was afraid that telling police would cost her job. Her only job, working for one of the most powerful Christian broadcasting families in America. Her husband told her,
It will hurt for them to know that I came here to tell the truth.
Sorry.
It's the truth. The truth needs to be out.
Pero es la verdad y la verdad
Y mi esposo también me dijo,
Especially for,
tienes que decir la verdad. Me dijo, Juan, voy a perder mi trabajo. Y mi esposo dice, pues la verdad te va a hacer libre.
Yeah, that's what my husband said. My husband said, you have to tell the truth. And I said, what if I lose my job? And her husband told her the truth will make her free, will set her free. So.
but when your livelihood depends on the very people you might be testifying against, that's not courage. That's sacrifice. So what did Sylvia see that morning in 2021? Well, her account matches Susie Lamb's version almost perfectly, but with details only someone who was actually in that kitchen could know. Here's how it went down.
To finish it, he already left again.
Pero traía él el niño en los brazos.
But he had his arms.
En ese punto nosotras no sabíamos qué estaba pasando, mi amiga y yo.
At that point, the nanny or myself didn't know what was going on.
Porque al poco rato bajó, yo oí que Susie gritó, ¡Jonathan!
I heard a screaming from Susie saying, Jonathan!
Su cuarto de Susie estaba cerca de la cocina.
Susie's room was close to the kitchen.
Y yo dije, ay, ¿por qué le grita tan feo a su esposo?
And I was asking myself, why is she screaming like that at him?
Pero después ella corrió y se fue al cuarto.
But she started running and then went into the room.
Y luego él salió corriendo, Jonathan.
And then Jonathan started running upstairs.
Y cuando subió los escalones, los subió muy rápido.
And when he went upstairs, he
Yo
did
estaba
it
toda en
super
la cocina.
fast. I was still in the kitchen.
No sabía yo qué pasaba.
I didn't know what was going on.
A lo mejor pensé que iba a agarrar algo, ¿no?
I thought maybe he was grabbing something.
Después él bajó.
Later he came down.
Y sí, Josh bajó diciendo, I'm sorry.
And Josh came down too, saying, I'm sorry.
No sé qué pasó.
Not sure what happened.
So,
Sylvia remembers the incident clearly because she was a little bit upset. Not about the drama, but because she was trying to clean up breakfast and everyone kept wandering off. Josh Brown hadn't eaten yet, so she was waiting on him. Then the 5-year-old baby lamb said she wanted to go swimming. Her mother, Susie, told her, okay, go get changed. And here's where it gets crucial. Sylvia specifically remembers that Josh Brown, who was holding his 1-year-old, followed the little stairs. She noticed. She thought it was odd because Josh hadn't finished breakfast yet and she wanted to clean up. Then, and this is where the story escalates, Sylvia heard Susie screaming, "Jonathan," at the top of her lungs. Quote, "I was asking myself, why is she screaming like that at him?" But she started running, and then Jonathan started running upstairs. When he went upstairs fast, I was still in the kitchen. I thought maybe he was grabbing something. Later, he came down. Josh came down too, saying, I'm sorry.
He said, I want to see your city view. So they went up the stairs.
The grandson and Pete, and Pete had the baby.
The grandson, Pete, and all those details have been left out.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they went up the steps, and again, I was there. I heard this whole conversation. And around the same time, or maybe just a few minutes after, I don't know exactly when, but my granddaughter went up to the room and went over to her side while Pete and my grandson were looking out the window at the city view.
Okay.
And she proceeded to put her bathing suit on. Well, about the time she started to put it on, Jonathan comes running up the stairs.
Her dad.
And says, what are you doing in here while she's changing? What are you doing? And Pete was like, well, I'm sorry. I don't even know if he actually saw anything.
Because he had his back to her.
Because he was holding the 8-year-old was there. So he said, I'm so sorry, and left.
Now, Joni Lamb's version claims Josh was upstairs, looking out the window at a city view with Israel, the 8-year-old son, and had no idea Ben was changing in the same room. But Sylvia's account? It supports what Susie has been saying all along. Josh specifically followed the girl upstairs as she was changing. But wait, because it gets even more disturbing. Sylvia told Detective Garcia about something else, something from earlier, something she witnessed a long time ago at Johnny's house. She was washing dishes when she saw Josh Brown in the swimming pool with Bam. And here's what she said, and I want you to listen carefully because this is direct testimony.
Una vez que yo estaba lavando trastes.
I don't know if that was the way of him behaving with the girls, but one day I was washing dishes. And they got there with a little, this was when she was a little girl, this was a long time.
Mucho tiempo atrás. Y estaban en la alberca.
They were in the swimming pool.
Y sí, él la estaba besando como muy así como muy.
And yes, he was in her like a lot of kisses like everywhere.
So,
The face?
oh, sí, aquí.
Mouth?
Right here. The
No,
neck
no, la
area.
boca no, pero aquí. Y a mí eso, pues
She's
yo,
pointing to the neck.
yo soy hispana, no estamos acostumbrados así.
We are Hispanics, we're not really
No sé cuál es la
accustomed to
cultura de ellos.
I'm not sure what the culture is.
Eso pasó.
But that's what happened
Ese día.
that day.
And yes, he was hitting her, like a lot of kids, like everywhere. The detective asked, on the face? And Sylvia motioned with her hand all over the kid's neck and visibly cringed while explaining it. Now, Sylvia tried to give Josh the benefit of the doubt. She said, quote, we are Hispanics. We're not really accustomed to this. I'm not sure what the culture is, yes, but that's what happened. She's trying to be fair, trying to account for different family cultures. But even she couldn't shake what she saw. And then there's the audio that was mysteriously redacted from the police interview. In the released footage, there's a loud tone covering some of Sylvia's testimony, clearly edited out by police. But at the very end of one of those tones, you can hear the interpreter finishing a sentence. Not going to stop with her. It's an addiction. What was the full context of that statement? We don't know. Police redacted it. But it suggests Sylvia said something even more that authorities didn't want made public yet. Sylvia also told police she watches children's reactions because those reveal a lot. She gestured that Blam was always pulling her clothes tightly around her neck and face, defensive body language that concerned her deeply. And then she said this, I am not saying that's 100% the truth, that something happened between them, but the way she acted, I could assume that she had a problem, that something went wrong. Here's why Sylvia's testimony is so explosive. First, she's a neutral third party. She doesn't benefit from taking sides. In fact, she has everything to lose by speaking up, namely, her job. Second, her timeline and details match Susie's account, not Joni's. She specifically remembers Josh following the little upstairs, which contradicts the city view explanation. Third, she witnessed concerning behavior between Josh and Balaam on a separate occasion. the pool incident with excessive care that made even her uncomfortable. Fourth, other family members noticed too. After the beach house incident, Sylvia says Rebecca Lamb Weiss told the nanny not to leave the kids at all by themselves and wanted her to stay with them during the night. Why would you suddenly implement those kinds of protective measures if nothing happened? And here's the kicker. Sylvia told police that Israel, the 8-year-old who was upstairs, told her they found Josh and Bam naked upstairs. Israel is now 12 and has told the Roy's report he was on his bed and didn't see what happened. But according to Sylvia, in the immediate aftermath, he told a very different story. Now, we have to be clear. Police closed this case in March 2025 without filing charges. Lamb, now around 9 years old, still hasn't voluntarily described AEBUSE to authorities. If she does, they say they'll reopen the case. But with Sylvia's testimony now public, the pressure is mounting. Because this isn't just he said, she said anymore. This is he said, she said, and the cleaning lady said she saw it too. Look, I want to be really careful here because we're talking about a child and extremely serious allegations. This isn't entertainment. This is about truth and protecting kids. What we know is this. A woman who had everything to lose and nothing to gain just corroborated key elements of Susie Lamb's account. She described concerning behavior she personally witnessed, and she did it despite fearing she'd lose her livelihood. That's not the testimony of someone trying to stir up drama. That's someone whose conscience wouldn't let her stay silent anymore. The question now is, what happens next? Will Bam ever feel safe enough to tell her story to police? Will other witnesses come forward? And how long can Daystar TV and Joni Lamb continue to defend Josh Brown in the face of mounting testimony? Let me know. Do you think Sylvia's testimony changes the game? Should Daystar be doing more to address these allegations publicly? Leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe because I'll be following every development in this case. This story isn't over.